Hi, how's everybody? How's been your weekend? It's been a very calm weekend for me. The sun is out. I'm having a cool time in the house. It's been wonderful. I've enjoyed it so much. And so, kids, we are back once again to our lovely reading time, reading with Joan. And my co-hosts are
Jemima
and
Jedidah.
so this afternoon we are going to have a lovely time reading.
Yeah. We always do.
Right. I think I sent out some announcements recently about our 30 days challenge, reading with Joan challenge, and we gave some recommended books. I just want to announce that personally, we've gotten 4 out of a lot we've ordered. So we've gotten Baby Goes to Market, we've gotten When Morning Comes, Jeremy's going to be reading that, and we've gotten While Leopard Have Sports and Africa Is My Home. And I tell you, the girls have been eating them up like food.
Yep.
See that? They've been eating them up. And so last week, Saturday or Friday, Jed did a review on
Baby Goes to Market.
Did you like that? So it was yum when we had to mention things like chin chin, our eyes sparkled. Chin chin. And that's the feel you get when you begin to read things or get enlightened about things that are associated with you. And I remember there was a day Jamie picked up a book from our local library, and the heroine in the book was eating puff puff, right?
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "Mom, this puff puff is
It's called Listen Up.
yeah.
Listen Up by
Can you remember?
Roman, the guy who goes on breakfast thingy.
Yeah, but she was so excited. Yeah, mommy, there's puff puff in the book.
Roman Kemp, I think.
Okay, so kids, this is what we want to begin to do, to give us those connections to where we come from, to re-educate us and to enlighten us about our culture and where we came from and why we think the way we do. And so when you begin to expose your children to things like this, and then they will begin to imagine and begin to create their own beauty out of the knowledge of where they are and where they come from. I hope we achieve this. So our 30 days challenge is on. We are looking forward to your video review, your summary copies, and we will be putting this together into our profile page. We'll soon have a website, right, girls?
Yeah.
Hopefully, then we'll now start building up something about reading with Joan.
And we'll put all our websites there too.
Oh,
I mean, not websites, videos.
Right. So this afternoon, Jed is going to start reading a new book. What's the title of your new book, Jed?
Greatest Animal Stories.
Oh, that is a big one. Jed is going to spend a long time reading this. But before we do that, before Jed comes on, I want Jeremy to read the
Science Geek Sam and the Secret Logbook.
Yeah, the Secret Logbook. Okay, Jed, let Jeremy read. Stand up. Let Jeremy read.
Oh yes, you're going to read. Okay, so today I am reading Monday Night. Archie and I were on cooking duty this evening. There was a kitchen in the barn with pots and pans so big you could fry a small child in one. Like you, Jed. Which of course we didn't. We had to throw in kidney beans, diced pepper, onion, and minced meat. A bit like a chili con carne, without the chili. Once it was bubbling and foaming, it was ready. It looked disgusting, but Mr. Nolan said it was a perfectly adequate meal, and the most popular dish at school camp. All we had to do was to drain it, he said. What's draining? I asked. Let me show you, Mr. Nolan said. He lifted the pan off the hob, tilted the lid slightly, and held the pan at an angle that the liquid can run off into the sink. A few beans fell out, and a huge cloud of steam escaped from under the lid. "Ouch!" Mr. Nolan screamed, and then with a loud clatter the lid fell into the sink, and then the mush of minced kidney beans, pepper, and onion followed. Florence came into the barn. "Sir, Sir, what are you doing?" "Mr. Nolan burnt his hand," I shouted. I quickly turned on the cold tap. "Put your hand under the cold water, sir." The water poured over Mr. Nolan's fingers and into the chili. Florence wrinkled her nose. "Yikes, what's that? It looks like sick." "That's our dinner," Archie said. He picked up the skimmer, started to scoop the beans out of the sink. "That was our dinner," Mr. Nolan said. "Sorry, boys, I'm afraid we'll have to go to McDonald's tonight." "No worries, sir," and I patted Mr. Nolan on the back. "No problem." From Sam Billington to Uncle Jack. Subject: Trick? Hi, Uncle. I'm sending you this message from our school camp. I got a seat at the back of the coach and we saw standing stones. Tonight we went to McDonald's because the kidney beans had fallen out of the saucepan thanks to gravity. We got free time now until dark. And then we're going to the moors to watch the stars. I brought my telescope. I've got a question. Do you think that Jesus walks on water? I once watched a trick on Mythbusters where they walked on water. Or at least it looks like it. But in reality, there was a plank underneath the surface. And do you think he really came back to life? Because that is completely impossible. And what about the parting of the Red Sea that allowed Moses and all the other Israelites to walk on the bottom of the sea, across to the other side? Cheers, Sam. From Professor Jack Scott McNeil to Sam Billington. Subject: Reply: Trick. Dear Sam, I hope you're having a great time on your school camp. Too bad you lost the kidney beans. I'm sure you are absolutely gutted that you had to go to McDonald's instead. You're actually asking me what I, as a scientist, think about the miracles in the Bible. Let me first explain something about the laws of nature. By observing and measuring things, scientists have discovered that a lot of what happens in nature happens according to fixed patterns. We call these patterns laws of nature. For example, according to the law of gravity, objects will always fall downwards. If you turn over a pan with kidney beans, beans will fall out. Does everything work according to the laws of nature, like gravity? Or can miracles happen too? I believe that God made physical laws so that everything works in the same way every time. That's a good thing, because otherwise it would be total chaos. But very occasionally, and for a good reason, God can decide to let nature take a different course. So, for example, I believe that God enabled Moses to part the water of the Red Sea, maybe because God brought along an extremely strong wind, just as it happened at the right moment. And I can believe that Jesus really did walk on water, even if that's impossible according to the law of gravity. And I believe that Jesus came back to life after he'd already been dead for 3 days, although the laws of nature wouldn't allow that. But it is important to remember that these miracles always have a special meaning. They're not just random magic tricks. God uses them to teach us something important. For instance, because of Jesus' resurrection, we know that God is stronger than death, and that gives us the hope we can live on even after his life. Uncle Jack. P.S. When you do your stargazing tonight, you must look out for Saturn. You can see it from 10:30 p.m. in the southeast.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. That was a lovely reading. Did you enjoy that like I did? Okay, so if you enjoyed Jamie's reading, would you mind? No, wait. What's your question? Welcome, Aimee.
Hi. My question.
Yeah.
What time did Uncle Jack tell Sam to look out for Saturn?
What time did Uncle Jack tell Sam to look out for Saturn? I don't know.
It's not hard.
Yes, it is.
Okay. No,
what is the law? It's not. Okay. What's the law of gravity?
10.
10 what?
Wow, that's a very big clue. 10 then something else.
Okay, so what's the law of gravity? Is that better? So what's the law of gravity? If you know it, can you tell us what the law of gravity is? Aimee, do you know the law of gravity?
No.
Ooh. Jamie read it just now. Does anybody at home know the law of gravity? Everybody's eyes is shut today at home. What's happening?
The videos are wrong.
Oh, please, can you put on your videos? We want to see your lovely faces. So, the law of gravity. So, what time? Let's just discuss the answer. What time?
10:30 p.m.
Ah, she was right. Look at that.
She gave us a very big clue. Not she's wrong.
Give me 5. 10:30. So, kids at home, anybody knows what the law of gravity is? The law of gravity is anything that goes up must come down. Simple.
Yeah, very simple. Like if I brought up this book,
and
it's gonna come down.
It has to come down.
Unless you're in space.
That's the law of gravity.
There's no gravity in space.
There's no gravity on space?
Just a little.
Just a little. That's why you float on space, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you still come back to the ground.
You still come back to the ground. Okay. So that's interesting. Thank you for that, Jamie.
Look.
What? 10:30. Oh, somebody just gave us the answer online. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for that. So Jamie, do you want to play your
Now I will.
Oh, so we have to stand up for her again. Oh, yeah. Today Jamie's just okay, let's go.
But you need to get me.
Yeah, come on. I need to hold that.
Yes, please. I'm going to be playing Quick March.
Short and sweet. Okay, Aimee. Oh, somebody's giving you a clap here. Well done. That's nice. Cool. So, Aimee, we are going to bring you on board. Remind us the book you're reading and shoot for the next 5 minutes. So, let me get out of here. Yeah.
So, I'm the person controller. Trouble was the diet didn't make Eric any lighter. If anything, they made him heavier because every time he finished one, and he always finish them, normally after only 4 or 5 days, he would eat about 5 times his own weight in bacon sandwiches. Eric was just tucking into a bacon sandwich. The first one he had after giving up on the giant potato.
Aimee, we can't hear properly. It's kind of cracky. Do you want to slow down? We can't hear properly.
Very quick.
You want to try and slow down and read? Start again, please. Thank you.
Trouble was the diets didn't make Eric any lighter. If anything, they made him heavier because every time he finished one, and he did always finish them, normally after only 4 or 5 days, he would eat about 5 times his own weight in bacon sandwiches. Eric was just tucking into a bacon sandwich, the first one he'd had after giving up on the jacket potato skin diet, which he'd followed for 2 whole days. It allowed you to eat jacket potato skins, and you could put a low-fat spread on them, which Eric had decided included mayonnaise. The thing that happened to Ellie's controller, which was so upsetting, happened. The bacon sandwich, in a way, was what caused the whole thing. Because whenever Eric Stone had his first bacon sandwich after a diet, he would become so entranced by the fatty saltiness of the pork rasher and how deliciously it sat against the brown sauce-smeared white bread that he would forget everything else and close his eyes. He would lose himself in that bacon sandwich. Unfortunately, the point at which he was losing himself in this particular bacon sandwich was also the point at which he was sitting down on the sofa in front of the TV, plate in one hand, sandwich in the other. In his pants, his big grey, bought in 1987, wide front pants, he had been planning to open his eyes shortly and watch TV, but not for a little while, not until he'd really savored the saltiness, not until— "Ow!" said Eric, opened his eyes very wide. "What is it?" said Joan, not bothering to turn away from the cache in the attic. Joan Stone never missed an episode and was convinced that one day she herself would find something in the attic worth millions of pounds, which was odd, as the Stone family lived in a ground floor flat. "I sat on something," said Eric. "Well, move off it then," said Joan, still looking at the screen while stroking the family cat, a white, fluffy beast called Margaret Scratcher. "I can." "You can?" I think it's stuck." Eric stood up. He turned around, facing away from his wife. Interestingly, despite the obvious pain he was in, at no point did he stop eating his bacon sandwich. "Can you see it?" he said. "What do you mean, can I see it?" He glanced over his shoulder. "Stop watching Cat in the Attic just for a second." With a big touch, Janet Stone forced her eyes away from the television and looked across Margaret Scratcher's fur as her husband's back. Then she lowered her gaze a fraction. "What's that?" she said. "What's what?" "The black thing poking out of your pants." "That's what I want to know," said Eric. "Never mind it poking out. It's poking me." There was another tap from behind him. Eric had once admitted, quietly to his friends in his work canteen, over a bacon sandwich, that if his wife was annoyed, she would be a tap. "For pity's sake, Eric, bend over." Eric did as he was told. There was a short pause as Jenny and Margaret Scratcher peered. Eric felt he could hear them peering. Then she said, "How on earth did you get that stuck up there?" "How on earth did I get what stuck up there?" "My video game controllers," said another voice. Ellie's voice, in fact, sounding very upset, reasonably realizing she had just come into the living room to see her mother reaching out a slightly disgusted hand to retrieve her most prized possession from between the teeth of her father. Chapter 2. Cyber Dodo.
All right, Aimee, we'll read the next chapter next time, okay? Because of the time. Well done. Do you have any questions for the kids at home and everybody here?
It was breaking.
No.
No question. Oh, Jamie's so excited right now because you said no question. Oh, look at them. All right, let me bring them back. Jamie, did you see your yawning showing on the screen? You didn't see your yawning. And see, you had, why are you guys so tired? What have I done? Meanwhile, you know why they are gasping and yawning? today they just resumed back to school. They've been on 1 week holiday and they've been waking up at 10 and 11 o'clock. So today it was time for showtime. When I woke them up, who was crying, who was grumbling, like, oh, why do we have to wake up early today? Yeah, so I think that's why they are yawning. Anyway, thank you so much, Aimee. We were not hearing you clearly because I think it was, I don't know what happened. It was just a bit faster, and we are grateful. I would have asked Jet to read, but no, because our time is running out, and tomorrow, tomorrow.
Last time we did 29 minutes.
I know you want us to do 29 minutes.
No.
Oh, what do you want, kids? Do you want more reading? You want more reading? Chima says no. Thank you, Chima.
And you can read tomorrow.
You read tomorrow. Okay, read this first. Read the acknowledgement or about
the introduction.
Read the introduction.
Have you ever seen a dog with a bone? And if you did see one, would you ever try to take the bone away? I wouldn't if I were you. And I don't think
Aesop.
I don't think Aesop would either. Aesop may have written this fable over 2,500 years ago, but his stories and the lessons in them are timeless. Dogs will always love bones, and dogs and people will always be tempted by what they haven't. But remember, if you're too greedy, then you may risk what you already have.
Ooh, so the story she's going to read tomorrow, it's going to be about greed. So I'm looking forward to it.
The monster.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to read it.
Yeah, you read it tomorrow. Time is gone. So thank you, kids, for joining us today. Remember to take up our 30 days challenge. We've got some copies of the book. If you live around us and you need a copy, you can let your mom and dad send us a message. We can share the copies of the book with you. You read, you review, and you can get them on Amazon. You can buy them, review, and send to us. Let's do this, kids. It's 30 days challenge while we are still at home before we go back to school, right? So I'll see you tomorrow on Reading with Joan. Thank you for joining us. Bye.